Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the 7th of February, February 7th, 2025. And you've reached the comments video for Travels with Dottie, and we got the weather up first. We got some wind. We had some wind yesterday. We had a big gust come through here that, had I had my awning opening, it would have been a big problem. So that's going to continue through today with sustained winds up to 12 miles per hour, which means 24, 25 mile an hour gusts. Then it calms down until I think Monday. Let me double check. Oh, it's actually 15 miles per hour sustained today. Tomorrow it calms down, and then it doesn't come back again until Monday. We see 14 miles per hour. Tuesday 12, Wednesday 12, Thursday 12, Friday 12, and that's it through the 15th, 10 days. So we got some wind coming our way. Not terrible wind, not wind that's going to absolutely interfere with your ability to enjoy being outside during the day. Just mind your stuff that might blow away with the gusting. That's all. And we're 77 high today. Temperature's going to start to drop over the next few days, steadily down to the high 60s by next Thursday, over the next week, and then we're back up above to 70s, 80s the following week, high 70s, low 80s. So that is the weather outlook in beautiful Quartzsite. I'm about 3.5 miles outside of town, boondocking in the desert, and it's currently 58 degrees out here, and it's 6:42 a.m. And I have my nice hot cup of coffee here, and we're going to jump, guess what, right into the comments. And the first one was from J.K. Gines. Good morning, Rob, Dottie, and George. Quick question. As an alternate form of communication, I'm considering a product called Rapid Response Radios. Do you know of anyone who uses this device? Thanks and have a great day. I am sorry, I have never heard of that. I don't know what that is. It sounds interesting, but first time I've ever heard that phrase. Nancy Rosen says, I had a knee replacement on December 10th. I'm recouping just fine. Well, that's great. That's great. I had mentioned that knee replacements generally are more complex recovery than hip replacements. That's pretty universal as you research that across various reputable sources. And one of my reputable sources is my brother. He just had his knee replaced, and it's been a real struggle for him. And a friend here on campus had both knees replaced. Another friend close by here has had both knees replaced. So Nancy, you're very fortunate, and she says she's going to have the other one done, and I hope it just goes just as well, if not better, than the first one, Nancy. Let's see. Montana Wife says, George of the Heart, and Zareth the Chemist says, good morning, George, Robbie, Little Dottie. First year here. Got the crud, and was down a little while. Went to town yesterday for the first time in a few days. Noticed the massive disappearance of campers and dune buggies, and I felt like I stepped through a portal that led me into another dimension. The queue has gone from boomtown to ghost town. I like it. Sweet little town and very friendly people who live here year round, or like me, are here until the heat chases us out. Next year I'll try to wait until after the big tent comes down. Your videos help me make up my mind about coming here. Thanks, Rob, Dottie, and George. You're welcome. He said he got the crud. Let me say something about that. They call it the Quartzsite crud, and what I think, it's funny. A lot of people get sick here, and they start posting on social media, and it's just a plethora of people absolutely certain, without any doubt, this is what it is, and it's all different answers. Every year it's the same way. Everyone is sure they know exactly what it is, and to me, what it is you come to Quartzsite in the winter, and you come to a place where hundreds and thousands of people jam together in the Dollar Generals, the gas stations, the tents, the vendors, and there's a lot of people, and there's a lot of stuff going around, and you're going to get sick. There. And it's probably a plethora of things. On those damn beavers, that's a number 328 positive news from yesterday. Ken says they've been re-importing beavers to New Mexico to save the watershed too. You can do a search for New Mexico Beaver Project. So the article not only, we all know beavers are great at making dams, but did you know they're good at strategically making dams that are good for the environment? Who knew? Roger said, I count 446 hairs on your shirt. Good use of your time. Great use of your time. Count away. Kind Barber, number 252, positive news. That's an old one, 252. We're at 328, so that's an old one. Alan says, awesome story. Thanks for sharing. John Montalbano says, Dottie deserves her own show. Dottie travels with Rob. All right. Okay. She wouldn't say much, that's for sure. Tommy, listening to you walking through a snowstorm, I can't see your shirt. Bless you. John Barbara, you're absolutely right to point out landmarks. Google took me all over town trying to find that pharmacy. Yeah, that pharmacy. One hidden thing is the post office. When I first got here, how many times I drove past that place trying to find it. And then even more hidden is the pharmacy, which is right next to the post office. If you're in the parking lot of the post office and you're standing looking at the door, turn your head to the right and you'll see the pharmacy. And you'll be thinking, it's there? How could anyone know that it's there? You just have to know it's there. The front of the building facing the street is a giant marijuana dispensary. And the pharmacy looks like an afterthought in the back of the building that doesn't face any street, just like an alley next to the post office. Amazing. Kristalina, dog's a pretty girl. Yeah, aren't you, Dottie? I think you're pretty. Sleeping dog. Katie Hoke, does the flying selfie stick really only last under 15 minutes? It's neat, but it kind of lasts 15 minutes. That kind of stinks. Yeah. 11, 12 minutes. I have 2 batteries. Usually most of what I want to say when I'm walking, I say in 10 minutes or so it's okay. Ken Gray says, good to know that the verification is case sensitive. I wouldn't need it for 4 years, but I think I can keep it in mind that long. That's my first doctor's appointment. First time you use Medicaid, you hand over that card and they click it into the computer. And she looked up and she said, that's invalid. It's an invalid number for Medicaid. I'm like, oh my God, no, tell me no. And it turns out there were letters in there that she was typing in lowercase and they're case sensitive. So she retyped it in and it was good. James Donovan said, I just paid $11 a dozen in Fort Myers. That's for eggs, and he says no politics. Okay, I agree. It's I don't think it's political. I think it's got to do with sick chickens. Quartzsite Comments. Ken Gray looked it up. An INR is an international normalized ratio blood test, apparently to test how fast your blood clots. Yeah, someone says, oh, I can get an INR up in Parker. And I'm like, great. What the heck's an INR? Well, Ken came to the rescue again. Dee Cornell. Good morning, Mr. Rob, Dottie, and George. And good morning to Dee. James, all the people that we know that have had hip or knee replacements all have said the physical therapy is very important and not take any shortcuts with it. Basically, they say just because you feel good, don't stop going to physical therapy. One guy we know had to have his hip replacement redone because he never followed through on what the doctor told him. Good luck, hope all goes well. $6.49 for a dozen large eggs here. So he's 50 cents less than what I paid, right? We don't know where here is, though. Doesn't matter. FJ Garcia, don't worry about the dog hair, Rob. At this point, I think these people are just messing with you. Keep doing what you're doing. I think you're right. There are people that know I'm sensitive to it, so they're going, well, let's poke this bear. I enjoy this channel. Thank you. Don Van Mormon? Don Van Norman. Good morning, Robin family. Laughed out loud. I've been watching you consistently since you've been in Quartzsite. Wasn't able to make it down this year from Northern California, so it was nice seeing the town and riding along with you. I'm also from Rochester. Oh, I was born in an old Dutchman in the 19th Ward, kind of a rust neighborhood, but we left in the late 60s, and I grew up in the surrounding areas. I left in the early 80s. I've been in California ever since. Whenever I go back, first thing I do is get a good pizza, some Boston cream-filled donuts from Wegmans. Yeah, Wegmans was originated in my little town, Pittsford, New York. That's where the first one was. Have you had the famous garbage plate from Nick Tao Hots on West Main Street? Never heard of it. That's got to be a Rochester thing. That's one of my many things Rochester is famous for. Okay, give Dottie's pat for me and George. You know, it's interesting. My dad worked for Kodak, so he worked in the Kodak building in downtown Rochester for many, many years. But we rarely went into Rochester. I rarely saw Lake Ontario. I mean, we were really confined to that area of Pittsford. Everything we did was in Pittsford, in the suburb. Short and Rain says, again, thanks for your videos concerning Quartzsite. We arrived in Yuma, Kokopah RV Resort. Very nice report this past Saturday. Our first time in the area, made the pilgrimage to Quartzsite yesterday, Wednesday 2/6, stopped by at the Tyson Wells Arts and Crafts Show, which is anything but. Disappointed as it is basically simply a flea market. Well, if you watch my videos, you would know that. I've walked through there more than once. They really should not advertise it as such. Filled up our water at your water supply. Was able to get 8 gallons for $1. Now, there are plenty of arts and crafts in there. You probably didn't go through the whole thing. My good friend Deborah Dickinson sells her books and tells stories and author, custom signs for books. Next to her is my friend Joan, who does these amazing painted rock things. There's lots of artisans in there, so I'm not sure how you missed all those. Was able to get 8 gallons for $1 to the person prior to me. Filled a 5-gallon container, leaving an extra for me. Also stopped and had lunch at Silly Al's. The pizza was very good. Drove through the LTVA's one-word dust. Enjoyed actually seeing Quartzsite in person. There's a reply on there. What is it? Spent a weekend at LTVA and found sand in my hot water tank. Hang on. When I got home, probably should have used a filter. Where does Dottie get her water? Just curious next time. Happy hip replacement. Well, if you got sand, in your hot water tank, I don't know how that happened. It's really, other than the high saline content of the water that they dispense here, I've never heard anybody have sand in it. I've done a lot of testing of the water. Never saw anything like that in the water. So I would look for another cause. One common cause of getting sand into your system is some people, after they fill up, they forget to put that cap to the city fill port on their trailer. They forget to put that plastic cap on, and it's windy out here, and sand will blow into your tank and other things. Let's see. Old man. So Rob, how long will you stay in Quartzsite? Where will you call home next? Eventually, for the summers, Eagle Nest, New Mexico. But between now and then, I don't know yet. Don't know. Too early. Tamara, would love to follow your hip replacement process, especially from the viewpoint of living on the road. It's one thing to have it done when you're living in sticks and bricks. I have to think it's another thing entirely to get it done on the road. I'm going to try to do a whole series on my hip replacement. I'm even going to try to get the doctor to go on camera, see whether he wants to or not. Wordless 1111, have a great day. Anna G. Rodriguez says good morning. Mike Cerny says, hey Rob, just catching up in the last several days of videos. Was in Laughlin for a long weekend. Can't wait till I hit the road with an RV instead of taking these trips. But they do help break up the winters here in Northwest Northwest Minnesota, going back again in 2 weeks, and then again 3 weeks after in March. I love the lesson in solar as I plan to boondock part of the time. Question, have you ever tried figuring out the cost difference of only having typical the 200, 400 watts that come factory installed and using the generator using propane versus spending a lot more money on solar and battery upgrades? Seems to be a person can buy a lot of propane or gas and run a generator for a very long time on the money saved, not upgrading. So let me say this. One, I have not done that calculation. But I will say that it feels pretty good whenever I don't need to touch my generator. Number one, I'm not spending money. And number two, I know I'm not disturbing anybody out here when I'm not using my generator. I think for me, with the solar that comes stock these days is woefully inadequate. I would be adding solar panels and batteries and upgrading and etc. So that's my preference. Whether there's a break even point, I'm sure there is, but it isn't something that interests me to do. Tommy says, another great video. There's nothing wrong with the pot shop. That was just me remarking that the front of the building where the pharmacy is a marijuana dispensary. No judgments about pot shops or marijuana dispensaries, one way or the other here. Just upgraded my ride to a Yukon, so I'm looking for a nice small used camper. Went tent camping last year and it was fun, but I'd like to have walls when I go to sleep with Journey. Wouldn't take much for a 100-pound dog to slice through a tent. That having to take him to the restroom at 2 to 3 a.m. is not fun. Sorry, haven't been commenting getting hooked on some book series and I've been lost in that. Give Dottie and George some scratches. Thank you. Those damn beavers. Barb Connor has a smiley faces for that. Deborah Miller says, who's going to take care of your animals when you're having your hip surgery? I have friends. Don't worry. I'm not going to just leave Dottie by herself. It's okay. And as far as I know, I'll know no more at the end of next week after I meet the surgeon. This is generally a in and out same day thing. Dottie is the canine. Canine dog, you mean? Yeah, Dottie's the dog. Coster says, great observation about intelligence and humor. The smart animals, Dottie included, have a sense of play. Tim, on beavers, it just shows that nature is best at taking care of itself, so it should be. The more governments grow, the worse the rest of us are. Only Tim would make dams political. A beaver making a dam political. Quartzsite Comments. Hey, Rob, I'm at the discount grocery here at Tyson Wells. They have Starbucks via French roast here. Thanks for letting me know. I use Starbucks instant in a can. Barb says, wow, hip surgery has come a long way. I'm looking forward to seeing you pain-free. Thank you, Barb. Nathan says, had my right hip done, I'd do it again for sure. Rob says, beard looks good. By the way, don't worry about the dog hair. I'm dirty every day because I have desert cats who roll in the dust, then climb on my leg and insist on being picked up and held. I just wear old clothes, so I'm an old man who wears dirty old clothes. I guess I am too. I wonder if they're willing to travel to California. Could use some help. That's Frigo Jim talking about the beavers. Nancy Rosen says, is there BLM by the Grand Canyon and Flagstaff? And I'm like, I don't know. Not camped in either one of those places. No, not a clue. JP says, thanks for the weather updates. Also says, I want to try. I tend to trust people with pet hair on their clothes, wear it with pride. All right, and we're almost done here. Thanks for sharing. Don, I'm glad you're getting the surgery done. My uncle had both done, one at a time, of course. Now dancing again with my aunt on Saturday nights, both in their 80s. You know what? I'm going to have to stop here, and I've got an appointment, and I will come and finish it later. Okay, here I am continuing after a little break. I didn't finish this one. Donna says, glad you're getting the surgery done. My uncle had both done, one at a time, of course. Now he's dancing again with my aunt on Saturday nights, both in their 80s. Great. Wordless says, Advantage Plan is sales marketed to appear better than it actually is. It's easy to see why some complain, but all the med, insurance, cross-border information is much appreciated, especially for us seniors considering van life retirement and the medical implications. It's far more important than dog hair is to most of the viewers. You're good. Chuck Brewington says, Dottie's got a great bark. Once the glitch gets fixed, I bet everything goes smooth. I've had good luck with my Medicare coverage. Chuck says, my eggs are real cheap. Just walk out to the coop and say hi to the girls. I bet that is. I bet they're good, too. Quartzsite Comments. Bill Wright says, hello, Rob, Dottie, and George. I literally just woke up at 4 a.m. having this thought. Since most of the campers in the queue are seniors or single, isn't it wise to form friendships with others so they can check on each other should someone not be heard? Yeah. Follow-up question, if so, how could they gain entrance if there was an emergency and the door was locked? Like for me, I have a push-button door lock, and my campmates have the code. So otherwise, if I didn't do that, I'd have a hidden key, and I'd let them know where it is. Topaz Farmer says, woohoo, go Beavers. And that's the Beaver positive news. Nancy Lowe says, my EcoFlow display went dark late last night. Calling customer service later. It just worked perfectly. I just ordered new solar panels. Good luck on your surgery. Remember, if you need an emergency dog sitter, I'm just over in North. She can just stay home. I know you have people, but just FYI, if something happens around all your nomad troop with unforeseen things, unlikely, but it's there. Thank you. Going to give Discount Grocery a visit. Tell us how the Pop-Tart bites are. They were really good. Pop-Tart bites were good. You can zap them in the microwave for a few seconds and stick a couple warm, gooey treats on some French vanilla. Oh, yeah. Craving orange sherbet. Anyone want to split a tub? Who wants to be my friend? And some on French vanilla. Dusty Cat Travels. I may have missed the question. Is the cell service good now? It goes down with the crowds and back up strong after they're gone. Yeah, it seems pretty good now. And Dusty Cat Travel says, and I had another question. Is there a dog groomer out there? Absolutely, yes, more than one. I have a doodle, and yeah, no shedding, but they get bushy. I'd like shedding over groomers every month at this point. Yeah, there's more than one dog groomer in town, so you won't have a problem finding a dog groomer. Cotty Wample says, so you know the three-legged Canadian dog? Just asking because my Canadian friend has a dog named Buddy. Cotty Wample, have no idea what you're talking about. Not even a little clue. Sorry. Bill Wright says, oh my word, how remarkable and selfless, a special place in heaven for his and those with this type of compassion. That's today's positive video on a man who helps dying children. Mission to Parker, that was released today, so it's late in the day, so we're getting some today videos. Dee Cornell says, good morning. Good content for us retired folks. And we have Dame the First says, good sweet man on the short. Ed Godby says, in Eagle's Nest anywhere near Interstate 40. Well, depends on what you mean by anywhere near. Please Google Map Eagle Nest, and that will answer all your questions. Zareth the Chemist says, good morning, Rob and Dottie. Enjoyed the ride. Got to get there one day. Thanks for the preview. I used Quartzsite John Barba says, I used Quartzsite Pharmacy during my visit last month. They were friendly and got my meds within a few days. Walmart is everywhere except Quartzsite. True. Dee Cornell says, I can say that obesity has caused many problems and costly problems on one who struggles with weight. Let me just say, insurance companies don't want to pay claims when it comes to people who are overweight. I'm sorry about that. Is Parker Walmart the closest to Quartzsite? Dane the First says, yeah, of course. Yeah, it is. Famous Unknown, I'm rapidly approaching 60 years old, still have a few pair of Levi's from my 20s. Look better and less worn than some I bought last year, if only could I fit in them again. Katie Hoke says, my parents did the same. They were foster parents only to very disabled babies and kids. Some would only live a few days, but my parents would just care for them, all their medical needs until they passed away. Growing up in a home like this sure taught me some great life lessons. One being, everyone deserves to be loved. Bravo. And she says, yes, the drive to Parker is quite boring until you get close. There's a beautiful part of land off to the left on native land, nice green grass and all. I'm not sure if it's still like that. We were living there in Kew for 6 months back in 2000. Coster Notch says, my signature memory of Parker is of the altar carpeting at the church we went to Sunday Mass on, water skiing vacations at Lake Havasu, 1970. It was multicolored, made from patches of remainder carpet, and very beautiful. And that is it for comment video today. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow.